Good afternoon, everyone. The audio okay? Can you all hear me? Is it fine? Great. Excellent. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Okay, good. So we continue from where we left off. We left off with a few questions left from 2012. I like to finish them first. There were some remainder questions also left here, and then we will move to 2011. These are some very important questions that we have to finish up. They give you an incredible amount of insight and solving techniques. Okay, the name, the email address. This is my Telegram channel. In case you're new here and you're looking at some full courses, that's a code you could use. Okay, chalo. Yes, indeed. It's a very unfortunate. It's in fact very unfortunate to know that Irfan Khan is no longer with us. An impeccable actor. A loss, indeed a loss. Okay. The rules of the class remain very simple, and I hope all of you will follow them. Questions in the question box only. I've always kept them open. I'll keep coming back to them as and when we take a 2-minute breather between the questions. When you are mentioning something in the comment box, please make sure that the comment box is for important tech, audio-related issues, or if I ask you to respond in the comment box. Okay, so let's start. We need to start from this particular question. Okay, all right. Okay, so first, in India, and we'll answer only and only on the poll, no answers in the comment box. In India, other than ensuring that public funds are used efficiently for the intended purpose, in India, other than ensuring that public funds are used efficiently and for the intended purpose, what is the importance of the office of the CAG? Number 1. The CAG exercises exchequer control on behalf of the Parliament when the President of India declares national emergency or financial emergency. Option 2. The CAG reports on the execution of projects or programs by the ministers and are discussed by the Public Accounts Committee. Option 3. Information from CAG reports can be used by investigation agencies to press charges against those who have violated the law while managing public finances. Option number 4. While dealing with the audit and accounting of government companies, the CAG has certain judicial powers for prosecuting those who violate the law. I'm opening the poll now, and please answer your question only and only on the poll. Okay. All right. Good. Still about 35-40% of you got the question wrong. Simple enough. You can still do it by simple elimination method. C. Let's look at each of the options. Option number 1. CAG exercises exchequer control. Look at the keywords. Exercises exchequer control on behalf of the parliament. This itself should be a matter of concern. Rule number 1, democratic mandate. The CAG is an appointed body. It is not an elected body, which means exchequer control is control over finances. An appointed body does not have the control over financial allocation unless expressly authorized. Clear on this? So the CAG does not have exchequer control, period. Emergency, no emergency, doesn't matter. The CAG does not have exchequer control of any kind. This is how the CAG of India is actually quite different from the CAG of the UK, where in the UK, the CAG's permission is required before the parliament allocates money. In India, no CAG is permissions required. The CAG stands for Comptroller and Auditor General. Comptroller is a Latin word which basically means controller. Controller means controller of finance, which means having a say in finance. Now, the CAG has absolutely no say in finance. Clear of this? Okay. And the second half would have also been very interesting because the president advises national emergency on the advice of the cabinet, which is essentially a shorter form or a condensed form of the Council of Ministers. There's no way the first option can be correct. You can easily eliminate option A and option D because the first option is incorrect. Now, the CAG reports on the execution of projects or programs by ministries and are discussed by the Public Accounts Committee. This is nothing but rule number 4, checks and balances. This is intra checks and balances. The elected executive spends the money. The permanent executive, which therefore a part of it gets appointed as the CAG, checks on whether the ministry has spent the money rightly or not. So yes, option 2 is correct. 3. Information from CAG reports can be used by investigation agencies to press charges against those who have violated the law. Now, I can understand that this might be a legal technicality that you may not be aware of. However, you're all aware of these major scams that have happened in the country. 2G scam or Colgate scam, where, for example, let us say in the 2G scam, there was essentially a complaint, a case which was filed against the telecom guys, including the telecom minister, A. Raja. And the basis of evidence which was used was the CAG's report. That is why the CAG shot to power. Clear on this? That is what it is. Yes, and Aishwarya, yes, can be. You must have very strong reasons to say no, you can't. And why not? The CAG is like the CBI, but for the financial world. If the CBI can investigate on central matters of corruption, the CAG can tell you that, boss, you were supposed to spend X, you have either not spent X or the amount of money that you spent was not worth it. Either of the two things, you're checking on the amount of money being spent. CAG, that is why, is the apex financial body of the country. So this makes sense. Clear on this? Okay. While dealing with audit and accounting of government companies, CAG has certain judicial powers for prosecuting those who violate the law. Now, the answer here, the key word lies judicial powers. This violates rule number 3, separation of powers. Yes, because if judicial powers means you're deciding how and why the law was violated, you interpret it and then you send someone to jail. So automatically 4th is wrong. Clear on this? So by this also you could have eliminated A and D in case you were stuck with option number 1. You are left with B and C. The option becomes C, which is the correct answer, 2 and 3. Clear? This is nothing but an application of rule number 1, democratic mandate, rule number 2, separation of powers. Rule number 3, checks and balances. You know these 3 rules, you can easily eliminate the answers. Clear? All right. Next question. The Prime Minister of India, at the time of his or her appointment, need not necessarily be a member of one of the houses of the parliament, but must be a member of one of the houses within 6 months. Need not necessarily be a member of one of the houses of the parliament, but must become a member of the Lok Sabha within 6 months. C, must be a member of one of the houses of the parliament. D, must be a member of the Lok Sabha. This is again a straight application. I'm going to open up the poll and you can answer the question on the poll itself. I'm well, thank you. Good. Good. About 70% of you got the option right. This is again a simple application of rule number 1, democratic mandate. If you're performing a democratic mandate, if you're performing a democratic function, you must have some amount of democratic mandate. Yeah, Shubham, I've just been very busy with a lot of work, so that's why I'm just, yes, clear on this? Okay? Yes. उखाड़ने से पहले खुद तो उखाड़ के दिखाओ. Yes, absolutely, Pankaj. Don't worry, the jokes will come. Don't worry. Okay. Clear on this? Now see how this works. So, don't get confused with this. The Prime Minister is a part of the Council of Ministers. Okay? Now, the law says, if somebody has to be appointed as the Council of Ministers, you should either be a member of the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha at the time of appointment, or you will get 6 months. Yes, the answer is 1, to become a member. Now, you can always cross-check it with a little bit of logistics. Lok Sabha elections happened, and some of your key people who you would have thought that they are expertised of knowledge, they should become the ministers. They did not win any Lok Sabha seat, which means it is possible, time of appointment, they may not be able to hold a Lok Sabha seat. Clear on this? Because you may be a great minister, but do you have the great public skills to attract votes? May or may not be the case. Clear on this? Therefore, you get 6 months to become either a Lok Sabha or a Rajya Sabha member. Why Rajya Sabha? Because this could be a very tight coalition setup. Each seat would be very, very important. And if each seat is filled, then how do you have somebody have a vacant seat and somebody else come in and take that seat? This could be very, very difficult. Clear on this? Possible enough? Yes. And second, even if a person comes from the Rajya Sabha, even if somebody has to be chosen from the Rajya Sabha, it would be chosen because the majority party of the Lok Sabha wants this person from the Rajya Sabha to become the minister. So case in point, let's take the case of Mr. Jaitley. Mr. Jaitley, who is no longer with us, and I use this as an example because he has a proven track record of being a very good lawyer, very good finance minister, very sharp, very, very good with his work, but has always fared very poorly in his elections. But when the Rajya Sabha elections happen, which happen every 2 years, there are always seats that open up. Jaitley gets a chance to become a Rajya Sabha member. Okay? And when Jaitley gets a chance to become the Rajya Sabha member, what happens because of this is Very simple. What happens because of this is that the BJP, which has won a clear majority, wants Jaitley to come and join them as Council of Ministers. This is why. And why do you get 6 months? Because at least once in 6 months, the houses of the parliament are to meet. At least once in 6 months, the houses of the parliament are to meet. Aditya, focus on the discussion. Don't worry about this. I'll do a video on the Maharashtra crisis. Okay? Clear on this? Understood this? So this is why option 1 is correct. The answer is A. Clear on this? Yes? Good. In his previous elections, Mohit, in his previous elections, so in the previous election to this one, he did not. And he won by a record margin in the Rajya Sabha. So please understand this, okay? Lot of other elections. Talking about the general political career of Mr. Jaitley, not his most recent election. Because the most recent election was a BJP washout because people would have voted for the BJP as they had a clear prime ministerial candidate and there was no alternative available in the public sphere. But if you look at Mr. Jaitley's general election career, he hasn't performed very well. So please understand the context of what we are saying. Clear on this? Thanks, guys. I'm very good. Okay? All right. Next question. Tough one, but pay attention. With reference to the Delimitation Commission, consider the following statements. The orders of the Delimitation Commission cannot be challenged in a court of law. 2. When the orders of the Delimitation Commission are laid before the Lok Sabha or the state legislative assemblies, they cannot effect any modification in the order. Okay? Both of these options are there in front of you. Now I'm going to raise the poll. Yes, Samyak. Gotten this question wrong, which means this is a point of concern. So, pay attention. I'm going to discuss this. Understand this. I'm going to teach you some background concepts here. Pay absolute attention. Don't write anything. Just pay attention. Okay? Now, we're now looking at certain background principles on the basis of which elections happen. Okay? Let's look at the first principle. The first principle is, this is state A. Okay? This is state A. Let us say constituency 1, constituency 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let us say we're looking at MP constituencies as of now. We're not including MLA just for explanation purposes. A state has both MP and MLA constituencies. The first principle says, now please understand this, across each of these constituencies, this is intra-state, inside a state, across each of these constituencies, the number of people inside each constituency of a state should approximately be the same. The Election Commission of India gives you a 15% margin on this because it is logistically impossible to get the exact same population based to the last digit. So the idea is we make our constituencies in a state in such a way that approximately the same number of people are in each constituency, which means if constituency 1 is a is not a very developed constituency, so you don't have a lot of population in it. Clear on this? And constituency 4, let's say for example constituency 1 is supremely developed. It's an urban constituency. A lot of migration has happened. So constituency 1 will have a larger concentration of people. Yes, clear on this? Okay. However, constituency 4 is a rural constituency, not a lot of migration, lesser population. So the geographical size of the constituency would be bigger, because across constituency 1 and constituency 4, we would want approximately the same number of people. The idea is, yes, clear on this? It's not a very large margin. Clear on this? Because you're essentially trying to arrange constituencies in such a way so that approximately the same number of people exist, because population, total population. Clear? Okay? Total population. Clear on this? Okay? Understood this? Simple enough? Just understand what we're trying to do. We're trying to essentially do is each MP coming from a state should represent approximately the same number of people. Should represent approximately the same number of people. Same number of people. That's only fair. Because let us say this is an MP who came from a very, very urban constituency. His constituency would say, let's say would have had 1 lakh voters. This person would have come from a rural constituency and would only have, say, 1,000 voters. It would be unfair for him, because you're representing more and you're given less resources. So to create a sense of balance. Now I understand it is very difficult to have exact population figures. So the Election Commission of India gives you a 15% margin. This is how the law was made. This is why the law was made. Are we okay with this so far? This is one of the first principles of elections. Okay? Now understand the second part. Okay? So this is essentially arranging constituencies. I'll explain this. I'll give you a background concept. Arranging constituencies in such a way that approximately the same number of people reside in each constituency with a 15% margin. So that is how constituencies are drawn. That is how constituencies are drawn. Clear? Now, you would have heard of a principle that says due process of law. Have you all heard of due process of law? Making a law for reason X and using it for reason Y, violating the core intention of the law, the reasonability of the law. Yes, this has been indirectly included in our legal system. It is not explicitly mentioned. Through various judgments, we have come across and we have concluded to this principle. So we have procedure established by law, which tells you if the law has been passed in the right matter, it's done. It's a good law. And then you have due process of law, which says, if the law has been violated for its intent, it's been used in the wrong manner, then you can also challenge the law. So keeping due process of law principles in mind. Now think about it. Think about it. How can you misuse this law? How can you abuse this law? This could mean you could redraw your constituencies in such a way that in each constituency, a majority of the people who are going to vote for the political party in power. Can we do this? Yes. That would be a loophole in the law, because I could keep redrawing the constituency. This is a term which is called gerrymandering. This is often what the US faces. Okay? So India wants to prevent this from happening. So how does India prevent this from happening? We prevent it from happening by setting up something called the Delimitation Commission. The Delimitation Commission, an independent body whose only job is to draw constituencies. Whose only job is to draw constituencies, to simply keep population representation in check. This also further proves rule number 1, a fair democratic mandate. So MPs have been fairly chosen by the right amount of people. Clear on this? And this is pre-election. The election has not happened. You have drawn the constituencies on the basis of certain principles. Now you go through rule number 1. The delimitation orders cannot be challenged in a court of law. Yes, because of separation of powers. Rule number 3. Because of separation of powers. Rule number 3. Clear on this? Understood? Yes? Yes? Good. Next, the orders of the Delimitation Commission are laid before the Lok Sabha or the Assembly. They cannot affect. This obviously makes sense. Because think about the counter to this. If we allowed for this to happen, no, nominate members don't. If we allowed for this to happen, okay, then any political party in power, let us say 2019 to our current election was 2019 to 2024. In 2024, if this was allowed, BJP would ensure, just refresh and let me know if it is still a problem. Okay, if BJP was in power, BJP would redraw the constituencies in such a way, exception to this, yes. BJP would redraw the constituencies in such a way that it will ensure that each constituency has a majority population who would vote for BJP. So each constituency would still have a BJP winner, because in India, it doesn't matter who gets more than 50% of the votes. It matters who gets most number of votes. So if candidate A, B, C, and D are contesting, whoever gets more votes than each other, this is called first past the post system. Clear on this? So this is why. If this would have been allowed, as Ashutosh very beautifully says, this would have taken away why you set up the Delimitation Commission in the first place. Okay, so that is why the only body in this country who's judicially immune, who's immune from parliamentary action, is the Delimitation Commission. All right. So quickly revising it, it's a simple explanation. Please understand this. Okay. Just hold on a second. Stop typing, guys. Okay. Stop typing. Just listen. Thank you, Akshay. Thank you. We want to break constituencies in a state in such a manner that approximately the same number of people are in each constituency, so that each MP is representing a similar number of people across all MPs in a state. Clear on this? So that each MP has an equal amount of responsibility to shoulder. Now, the ECI gives you a 15% margin because it is logistically very difficult to determine exact populations, because it's mathematically a Herculean task. So that is why you require the Delimitation Commission to draw up these boundaries. Clear? To prevent alteration of boundaries for political purposes, for kickbacks in an election. Clear? Second, if I allowed the legislature, which is the majority of the political party in power, I would defeat the very purpose on the grounds of which it was made. Understood this? So, on principles of separation of powers, we do not let this happen. Clear? Understood this? Good enough. All right. I will move to the next. I'll answer your doubts, don't worry. Okay. If you need me to explain this in detail, if I have some time, I'll explain the Delimitation Commission in detail to you. Okay. Okay. Next question. This is a governance question and we must look at it. The endeavor of the Janani Suraksha Yojana. The endeavor of the Janani Suraksha Yojana is, just pay attention, answers in the poll only, to promote institutional deliveries, to provide monetary assistance to the mother to meet the cost of delivery, to provide for wage loss during pregnancy and confinement. Okay, refresh please. To promote institutional deliveries, to provide monetary assistance to the mother to meet the cost of delivery, to provide for wage loss due to pregnancy and confinement. Okay. Now, I'm opening this and use pure logic and understand. Is the slide not showing, guys? Is there a problem with the slide? I'll take a poll immediately then. Slides are okay? So people, please just, all right. Okay. Thank you. Refresh, you should be fine. So this is your question. I'm giving you the poll right now. Hold on a second. Please vote. Just use simple logic to this. Majority of you have gotten the question wrong. Only 35% of you have gotten the question right. I'll answer this. Yes. Okay. Hold on a second. There's a clear answer to this. You'll understand what the answer is. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just hold on. Just hold on. Just hold on. First, simple enough. Just hold on. Stop the comments here. Let me answer this. All questions in the comment box. The comment box is not for questions. Okay? So hold on. Samrat, stop commenting. Kilvish. Don't be evil, Samrat. Because what happens, also please understand that when there's an unnecessary flow of comments, the server gets burdened and this could also lead to tech issues. This is a basic principle of sustainable development. Yes? Okay. Chalo. Okay. Janani Suraksha Yojana. Janani means the ones who give birth. So, Janani means the mother. Suraksha means protection. Yojana means program. So, you essentially want a program to protect the mother. So, we have to look at the risks or the problems which are faced by the mother, and how can we solve these problems or risks. First, one of the first problems that mothers face while delivering babies is that they do it informally, which is usually in the confines of their house through local available methods, which can cause a health concern, which could be unhygienic, which could lead to infection, which could be fatal not only to the child but also to the mother. Okay? The first option says to promote institutional deliveries. Institutional deliveries means deliveries that happen at any formal medical establishment. Any formal medical establishment. It could be a primary healthcare center, it could be a community healthcare center, it could be a district hospital, it could be a secondary hospital, it could be a tertiary hospital, it doesn't matter. But a formal medical establishment. Do you think we should do this? Absolutely. We should absolutely do this. Clear on this? Because if more mothers deliver more babies safely, we are going to protect more mothers. I understand that some of you have never heard of this scheme. It's fine, but just use logic. I need to protect mothers. Mothers giving birth in an unsafe environment is unsafe for the mother. Clear on this? So therefore, we must ensure that safely children are delivered. So option number 1 has to be correct. Okay? Yes. MMR, IMR, neonatal, those are other rates. Yeah. By the way, IMR, MMR, neonatal is very important. So you should always have a look at it. So first option is correct. Okay? Clear on this? So option 2 and option C is already out. It has to be between 1 and D. To provide monetary assistance to the mother to meet the cost of the delivery. Now think about it. Okay? Hold on a second. Hold on. Guys, please stop commenting. You break the flow of the class. I have to tell you this all the time. Just behave yourselves, no? Just hold on a second. There are a lot of students here who are just learning right now. So we must respect the aspirations of all students. The greatness of knowledge is always humility. So I see a lot of you are very well read. Learn by keeping quiet sometimes. Okay? All right. The smartest people are always the most quiet people. Always know this. Okay. Now, we're talking about cost of delivery. The idea is a mother should deliver a baby at a hospital. A mother should deliver a baby at the hospital. And a mother would want to deliver the baby. Let's say in ordinary situation, the mother would want to deliver the baby. What is stopping the mother to deliver the baby to the hospital? Maybe the costs. Maybe the fact that the delivery is going to cost a certain bit of money. So why not? Why can't the government compensate for the cost of delivery? You would have definitely heard of general principles that say that deliveries at government hospitals are free of cost usually. Deliveries at government hospitals are free of cost usually. This is nothing but monetary assistance. So, makes sense. Option 1 makes sense. Option 2 makes sense. Clear on this? Now, third option. There are multiple ways to attack the third option. To provide for wage loss due to pregnancy and confinement. Yes, the Matru Vandana Yojana today provides for all of this. Janani Suraksha did not. Excellent, Muthu. Your keywords are confinement and wage loss. Now pay attention and answer my question very clearly. I'm sure all of you know what the Maitru Vandana Yojana is. If you don't, it's basically a scheme to basically provide direct benefits transfer to provide money into the amount into the accounts of pregnant or lactating mothers, which means to be mothers or recent mothers. Nobody's going to ask you the amount that you have to transfer because it's not needed. Okay? That's what it is. Correct? Now tell me something. Simple question. Simple question. Does every pregnant or lactating mother get benefits under Matru Vandana Yojana? Answer in a yes or no. 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 Clear? ठीक. इसका मतलब यूनिवर्सल पेमेंट नहीं हो सकती. Have they mentioned the kind of wage loss? Have they mentioned daily wage loss? Have they mentioned people who work in the daily wage sector? Have they mentioned people who work as contractual labor, Rega employees? No. It says to provide for wage loss. Anybody's wage loss for any reason because of pregnancy and confinement. This would mean even somebody who comes from a very rich family, and let us say the lady is pregnant, so she's confined. So till the time she's confined, she is not even working, right? This would mean an unnecessary expenditure. When the Maitru Vandana Yojana provides for direct benefits transfer, it does not provide it for all mothers. It provides it for mothers based on some criteria, based on some socio-economic criteria. Always remember this. Yes or no? किसी को भी यूनिवर्सल पेमेंट नहीं मिलती है. Because अगर यूनिवर्सल पेमेंट मिलती, it would have been universal basic income. And India right now does not have universal basic income. Clear on this? The UPSC will always ask you this. Clear? Yes? Now Suradeep has asked a very good question. To provide for monetary assistance to the mother who needs to meet the cost. Excellent. Now Suradeep, answer. What is the likelihood? Who is more likely to claim for this? The cost of the deliveries when you will come to the hospital, your records will be checked. Wage losses from the time of the pregnancy till the delivery and beyond. So this provides a larger time frame. This does not. So that is why. Clear on this? Understood? Yes? Clear on this? Samajh mein aaya? So this is why option 1 and 2 is correct and 3 is not. So always play on logics, and some of you got it right. Good job. Chalo. Next question. This is a very interesting question. Okay. Confinement is to be stopped in a certain place. Okay. Consider the following: hotels and restaurants, motor transport undertakings, newspaper establishments, private medical institutions. The employees of which of the above can have social security coverage under employee state insurance scheme? Social security coverage under employee state insurance scheme. Okay, clear on this? All right. Now I'm going to open the poll. Answer very carefully. 70% of you got the answer wrong. So hold on. Yes, I'm going to cover that point also. Don't worry. Okay, just hold on. Stop typing. Let me answer this question. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Question number 1. Can anyone tell me what on earth is a social security? Take your time. Take 2 seconds, take 5 seconds, take 10 seconds. Don't be in a hurry. What kind of an answer is that, somewhere? Pension, etc. What kind of an answer is that, Akshay? PF? No. What is social security? Excellent, Utkarsh. Excellent. Excellent, Samrat. Money, very good, Aditya. All right. Social security is, break the word. All right. Thank you. Aishwarya, very good. Social security is, we understand that 2 kinds of people in a society, the haves and the have-nots. 2 kinds of people in society, the haves and the have-nots. Yes? So hold on. Social security means to ensure that the have-nots, the people who don't have everything, to protect them in times of crisis, to protect them with a basic minimum amount. कि कुछ नहीं तो ये तो होगा ही. For example, you would have heard of something called unemployment allowance. This is very popular in the West. If you are unemployed, then you can go to the government and get unemployment allowance. In the same way, you would have heard of a maternity allowance. In a lot of countries in the West, you get this. If somebody is a single mother, right, and she needs the finances to, this is very popular in the Scandinavian countries, okay, and she needs money to raise the child, she can go to the government. She can say, I don't have any money, I need help, can you please give the money? Clear on this? Paycheck scheme, very good, Shreya, which is in the news right now. Yes. Clear on this? Yes. This is what is called social security. Clear? Now, so we understand social security, protecting people who might be in need. Come to the second part. Employees State Insurance Corporation. The key word here is insurance. Now, what is insurance? Insurance is protecting X against an event Y. If something bad happens, then X should be taken care of. For example, medical insurance. You pay a premium, okay? You pay a limited premium on a yearly basis. A few years later, somebody has a serious medical condition. Now you would have paid a premium, but you will get multiples of that premium as insurance cost, which will cover your treatment at a hospital. This is what is insurance. Yes, this could be life insurance. So if you're dead, then the money will go to somebody else. Clear on this? Medical insurance, house insurance, car insurance, all of this. Clear on this? If something goes wrong, then under basic conditions, yes, Anthony, we'll try to provide a certain amount of benefit. Now add 1 and add 2. Add point 1, add point 2. I need to give some kind of insurance to people who might need it in case something went wrong. Some kind of insurance to people who might need it in case something went wrong. Correct? What could go wrong? Accidents could go wrong. Occupational hazards could go wrong. You may get injured at work. You may become incapacitated to work. Correct? Now, can all of these, can accidents happen at hotels? Yes. वैसे सब्जी काट रहा था, हाथ कट गया, अब वो खाना नहीं बना सकता. Yes or no? Motor transport undertakings, वो गाड़ी चला रहा था, मैं निकला गाड़ी लेके आगे गाड़ी ठोक दी. Yes. Newspaper establishment, there are so many instances where there are printing press accidents that happen. वो इंक करा था, हाथ घुसेड़ दिया, उसके हाथ पे हेडलाइन छप गया. Yes. Private medical institutions, you could contract a disease, you could contract a healthcare loss, you could have a fire, you could have anything. Yes or no? Clear? So it could apply everywhere. And somebody, I think, gave a very good example. Now under COVID, are we not giving insurance cover to anybody and everybody who's working in the medical field? Yes. So there you go. Clear on this? Understood? Yes. Simple enough. Clear? Simple enough. Doesn't matter. Boss, if you're working in this sector, Aishwarya, a formal sector is when you're formally working in an organization, right? So it doesn't matter, right? You are going to be paid a legitimate amount of money, which will come to a legitimate amount of account. So the difference between formal and informal doesn't even apply here. Clear on this? समझ में आया? Understood. So hotel में होगा, हाँ जी होगा. मोटर ट्रांसपोर्ट में होगा, हाँ जी होगा. न्यूज़पेपर में होगा, yes. प्राइवेट मेडिकल में होगा, yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Clear on this? Understood? So that is how. Clear on this? Yes. Government medical will anyways give you government medical insurance, right? So it doesn't matter. Okay. And also I can understand some of you may have a question, कि private होगा कि नहीं होगा. Hotels and restaurants are public and private both. Motor are private. Newspaper establishments are private. This was just written to confuse you. ये नहीं भी लिखते तो आप assume तो करते ना medical. Then, if this is private, this is private, this is private, how is this any different? These are all industries at the end of the day. Clear on this? So this option was just to confuse you. Yes or no? And it says employees state insurance scheme. It does not say medical employees or health employees or any of those things. Clear? Okay. Clear? Yes. Can means anyone can be included. Yes. Good. Next question. According to the Constitution of India, it is the duty of the President of India to cause to be laid before the Parliament which of the following: the recommendations of the Finance Commission, the report of the Public Accounts Committee, the report of the Comptroller and Auditor General, the report of the National Commission on Scheduled Castes. Don't answer the question in the comment box. There's a simple logic to do this. Let's figure this out. Okay. The poll is taking one. Just give me 2 seconds. The poll is loading. It's just showing refresh. Just give me 1 second. Don't worry. I'm just giving. Cool. Half of you have gotten this question wrong. Excellent. Anil, Aisha, Bhanu, you guys are doing it really well. Coffee है यार शांतनु. ये सब कुछ बंद है. All right. Hold on a second. Finance Commission, constitutional body. Public Accounts Committee, parliamentary body. CAG, constitutional body. National Commission for Scheduled Caste, constitutional body or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Pattern दिख रहा है? Now see. LEJ. Permanent executive, elected executive. A few people are chosen from the permanent executive, given superpowers, and these superpowers are called powers in the constitutional bodies, and they're made constitutional bodies. Finance Commission, CAG, NCSC, whose job is to keep a check on the functions of the elected executive. Rule number 4, checks and balances. Public Accounts Committee comprises of members of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Internal. Rule number 3, separation of powers. The president facilitates the interaction between the three, does not interfere in the internal functioning of either of the three. The report of the CAG on the misdoings of the elected executive. The report of the CAG on the misdoings of the elected executive now have to be placed before the legislature. It will go through the president. The president shall call for it. Why? Because the president is an apolitical office. The president, after becoming the president, has no relationship with any political party whatsoever. Clear on this? No doubt. The Public Accounts Committee can also internally look at it. But this is they're basing their inquiry on this. They're basing their inquiry on this. But they have their own findings. But the CAG's report, as it is, has to be tabled here. Isn't UPSC's report also tabled in the parliament? Yes. That is how the UPSC submits its annual report, and we get to know, okay, this option is done well, this option is not done well, the average first attempt rate, second attempt rate, third attempt rate. That is why. So constitutional bodies, because of rule number 4, checks and balances, keep a check on the elected executive, and through the president, their reports are directly shown in front of the legislature. Clear on this? Because if you did not do this, then the reports would never come in front of the legislature. They would keep it quiet, they would keep it hush-hush. How else would you know what nonsense and what mischief and what notoriety everybody else is up to? Clear on this? So automatically, very simple, automatically option 2 is eliminated. If option 2 is eliminated, then B and D is eliminated. Between 1 and A and C, the answer becomes C. Understood? Good. Very good. All right, thank you. Next question. A deadlock between the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha calls for a joint sitting of the parliament during the passage of A. Ordinary legislation, 2. Money bill, 3. Constitution amendment bill. Select the correct answer using the code given below. I'm going to give you the code, and simple enough, if कुछ करना ही नहीं है, ये तो मेरी इज्जत रख लेना, आंसर दे देना. Thank you. This is an explanation of rule number 2, center stronger than the states, federalism. बहुत ध्यान से देखो. 33% of you still got the question wrong. A deadlock between the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha calls for the joint sitting of the parliament. Deadlock matlab both of them, there is a disagreement or the bill has come to a halt, requires for the joint sitting. इतना तो क्लियर है, देखो कितना आसान है, इतना तो क्लियर है कि a joint sitting of the houses can only happen if both the houses have equal powers to vote on the law. Same power है तभी तो साथ में बिठाएंगे. Mafia 1, Mafia 2 have the same power, so they can come together and become Mafia 1 plus 2. Yes. The one place they don't have equal powers is money bill. So automatically anything with option 2 is out. Yes. Clear? Yes. Yes. Good. Now, Constitutional Amendment Bill. At the very start, I had explained to you constitutional amendment bills, they can affect federalism and they cannot affect federalism. Sometimes they affect federalism, sometimes they don't affect federalism. We studied there are two kinds, serious ones and non-serious ones. Serious ones are under Article 368, non-serious ones are outside Article 368. If it is a serious one, does it affect the states? If it affects the states, you need to ask the states. Now answer this question. Suppose there is a constitutional amendment bill. Just see how this works. Suppose there is a constitutional amendment bill which affects federalism. Yes, GST, the first time the GST was introduced. And let us say it led to a deadlock. Okay? And if the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha were to sit down together and let us say vote on it. Sit down together and vote on it. This is going to be a big deal, a really, really big deal. Yes. So 545 members of the Lok Sabha. है ना, राज्य सभा में कितने 250, correct? 250 members of the Rajya Sabha. Both of them sitting together. Collectively voting. Yes. Excellent, Utkarsh. Advantage नहीं हो जाएगा. Advantage नहीं हो जाएगा. There will be an advantage Lok Sabha, right? There will be an advantage Lok Sabha. May not directly, but is there even a remote possibility of an advantage Lok Sabha? Yes or no? Yes. This would mean the constitutional amendment affecting federalism, if it went to deadlock stage, the Lok Sabha would sweep it away. If the Lok Sabha would sweep it away, then what is the whole drama of the Rajya Sabha getting involved in the first place? आप खुद ही कर लो, हमसे बातें क्यों कर रहे हो? हमको साथ में बुला के भरी सभा में बेइज्जती करने की क्या जरूरत है? हमारी भी इज्जत है, हम भी खानदानी हैं. Yes or no? So that is why option 3 is Katra. Exactly. Clear on this? Understood? Good. Now, let me look at some questions and then we'll move on. Just hold on. Some very good questions have been posted. So let me answer this for you. I know. I read about it. So very upset about it. Okay. All right. Tushandar, I replied to a mail today. There is. I'll cover this in the schemes next time. Vice President is also the presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha. All presiding officers require effective majority to remove. So in the Rajya Sabha, you require effective majority, and in the Lok Sabha, you require simple majority. Because Vice President is not just the presiding officer, the Vice President is also the second most important citizen of the country. Clear? Utkarsh study is going to be extended by a maximum a month. So continue your studying. At the most, start just slowly revising your optional also. Both. Now both. Preamble is not a part of basic structure because preamble is not justiciable. What is not justiciable is not a part of the basic structure. Absolutely, Abhishek. The word cabinet only finds mention there. Yes. Yashpal, are fundamental rights absolute? Nope. Nothing is absolute. Yeah, but they didn't say quasi-judicial. They said judicial functions. And the quasi-judicial function is that they're already looking at whether the funds were spent rightly or wrongly in the first place. That is why. It never said quasi-judicial, it says judicial functions. Six months, any member of any house. Yes, because the either way is the majority party wanted. See, you're thinking the prime minister has some hierarchy. No, the prime minister is a part of the council of ministers. He's heading the council of ministers. Okay, so even if the prime minister is coming from the Rajya Sabha, the majority party of the Lok Sabha wants the prime minister to be the prime minister. So that is why. On the basis of population, that is why they want. Nope. There have been before cases before also, but Menka Gandhi is the landmark judgment which sort of defines it. So the Implementation Commission currently is headed by I think one judicial member and one ex-judge and one ex-chief election commissioner. I think so. I think that right now some Justice Kuldeep Singh is currently the judicial member and ex-judge and N. Gopala Swamy, previous chief election commissioner, an extraordinary man. Okay. Aishwarya classes are morning and from 8 to 10. Separation of powers, because this is a pre-election phase. That is why. Excellent question, Nishu. That's fine. But then the constituencies automatically get adjusted. So that's okay. Constitutionally, order of the government. No. शांतनु essentiality का मतलब है शांतनु ओके मैं तुमसे कुछ ऐसा ले लूं कि जिससे तुम्हारे वजूद उखड़ जाए. For example, nowadays your generation uses a lot of your phones. If I take your phone away, your life will come to a standstill. Essential. So essentiality is if I take a religious practice away, will it affect the religion? No. Triple talaq is one of those examples. The court says, I take triple talaq out of Islam away. Do people become less Islamic? According to the Supreme Court, no. What are people getting it? बेटा जितना मिल रहा है ना बट ओवर लो, लाइफ का क्वेश्चन ही यही है. Mandeep, I'll do a full video on the PM Cares Fund and the CAG out of it because I understand it's a lot in the news, so don't worry. Utkarsh answered. Similar voting mechanism, Nishab, same. हाँ, सिर्फ ordinary में. Because in an ordinary bill, both have equal powers, and an ordinary bill can always be rechecked. That is why so it's fine. An ordinary bill is not affecting federalism, so even if it is sweeping away, it's still the collective mandate. Somewhere. Very good question. So I asked, sir, if that's the case, then why do we allow it for ordinary bills? Because ordinary bills are not affecting federalism. Please open Delimitation Commission's website. You can go through it. Mansi has a good question. I'm making a preparation document that will help. Aditya has a beautiful question. We, the people of India, give ourselves this constitution. So for a constitutional amendment bill, we must need Democrat. Ha, beta. This is the kind of discussion we have on a Friday evening, drinking some concentrated nimbu pani. I'll include question numbers also, Sonal. Don't worry. Direct democracy and direct elections are two very different things, Harshvardhan. Okay? So when we cover local self-government and parliament, we'll talk about this. No, all ordinances don't have a retrospective effect. Only civil ordinances do. Nothing. The bill dies, Menka. If the bill still doesn't pass after a joint sitting. May. After 3rd May. Yeah. Yes. You can email me, Ashwarya. That'll be enough. No. Even if the pre gets postponed, the mains doesn't. ऐसा नहीं है कि मतलब ऐसे थोड़ा ना करेंगे. मतलब तुम बच्चे की जान तोड़ना लेंगे कि प्री सितंबर में करा, बोला चलो 1 महीने में अक्टूबर में मेन लिख के आओ. ऐसा नहीं करेंगे. They'll give you 3-4 months हो गया. ऐसे नहीं. UPSC is a good human being. अच्छा इंसान. Circumstances ने उसको बुरा बना दिया है. ठीक है. Fundamental duties are not enforceable. Okay. Because separation of powers नहीं है, that is why. ठीक है. हाँ देवांश, तुम ही बता दो. तुम ही इंडिया टीवी के रिपोर्टर हो. तुम ही बता दो बेटा कब होगा. 23rd August pre and mains in December. ठीक है. No, they are not. They're going for the first 13 batches. Maybe just speak to the administration about it. ठीक है. Okay. All right, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll create a special class.